Hello, my name is Camille Green, and I'm making this video for those of you who are needing or wanting to learn about the basics of the organ. Whether you've been asked to be the organist in your community or church, or you just want to learn how to play, this video will hopefully help give you a little bit more of a foundation about how this instrument works, basic vocabulary terms and explanations, and websites that I have searched and feel are great resources that will give you a well-rounded introduction to the organ. I will even include websites where you can order prelude and postlude music, as well as a site in order to purchase organ shoes. First off, I want to say that many pianists try to play the organ and find out very quickly that it cannot be played like a piano. It's like thinking you can go play racquetball because you're really good at tennis. These are two very different games and are played with two very different techniques. Those of you who are experienced in this arena know it doesn't work out well. I will say, however, that having a piano background helps greatly with the learning process. That will give you the basics about the order of the keys, as the organ keyboard follows the same note sequence as the piano. Also, knowing key signatures, time signatures, phrasing, dynamics, voicing, scales, and music theory is great background, because then you can just dive into the technique of how the organ is different. Most of those basics don't change, but the three things that were most challenging things for me as I started learning the organ where the pressure of your fingers on the notes doesn't control the volume, the same sound is produced. Unlike a piano, where if you play harder or stronger, you get a louder sound, and vice versa with creating a soft sound. Second, the fingering, or lack thereof. And third, the basic musical technique of how to connect notes. After 17 years of piano lessons and having correct fingering nailed into me, and rightly so, as it is vitally important to the technique of the music, all of a sudden, it's every finger for himself, and everything you learned about following correct fingering is all of a sudden thrown out the window. When playing the organ, we use what some people call spider fingers. Basically, there's no such thing as correct fingering, and you just use whatever fingering necessary, sometimes having to literally crawl over the top of your hands and fingers in order to connect the notes to achieve a legato or smooth sound. You can tell a pianist from an organist pretty quickly by just listening to where they break the sound with their fingers. If you break between certain notes that are not correct based on appropriate organ techniques, the sound is no longer smooth and the result is a choppy or divided sound. Great for the piano, not great for the sound you want to create on the organ. I think of the organ as a piano on steroids. It's like you're playing three pianos all at the same time, two with your hands and one with your feet. Talk about multitasking, and your brain having to differentiate every note and what clef you're playing it in and when and where to hold and break the notes. It gets very complicated trying to train your mind to read music this way, and can be very overwhelming at first. But as you are diligent and take the time up front to understand and go slowly through practicing, the techniques gradually do come and you don't easily forget, kind of like riding a bike. To see an explanation of the parts of the organ, please join me in my next video.